Hello students, myself Professor Rushali Tapde from ICEEM Engineering College. Today we will discuss about software architectural design and 4+1 view model. In the last two lectures we are discuss about in the first lecture what is a model, then what is a visual modeling, what are the different types of modeling, and then we discuss about how the complexity arise while developing the software, or which elements they are responsible for rising the complexity while the software development. Then in the next video we had discussed about the different role of decomposition, the different types of decomposition, then object oriented methods. Then we discuss about the UML, that is a unified modeling language. What is the history of the UML and what are the different types of UML diagram. So in this video now we move forward for the software architectural design and 4+1 view model. In this video we will discuss about what is the software architectural design, how we will design the software architecture, then different method and notations for designing the software architecture. Next, the COMET, that is, what is a COMET? Collaborative Object Modeling and Design method, which is used for designing the software architecture. And in last we discuss about the multiple views of the software, that is a 4+1 view model for designing of the software. Now what is the software architectural design? The software architecture, it will give the overall structure of the system, that is what are the components and their interconnection. It gives the structure of this component and their interconnection with each other about your system, instead of giving you the internal details about each and every components. So what this software architecture gives? It gives you the overall structure of your system with the help of components and their interconnection. It more focuses on the component and their interconnection. That's why it is also called as programming in the large. Instead of they are not giving the details of individual components, which is also called as programming in the small. Now the software architecture can be described at different levels. It can be described at the higher level, it can be described at the lower level. So if we describing the software architecture at the higher level, in that case we can describe the software system with the help of decomposition concept. That means at the highest level the software architecture describe the system with the help of decomposition of the software system into the subsystem. At a lower level it will describe the different components of our system, such as the modules and individual component. The means in a higher level it will describe our software in a decomposition parts, how our system get divided into the subsystem, whereas at a lower level it describes our software into the individual component. So in each case it emphasizes on the external view of our subsystem, that is the interface it provides as well as required, and its interconnection with the other components. Now while developing the software architecture, we need to consider the different software quality attributes. Now what are the different software quality attributes? There are two types of software quality attributes we need to consider, that is a functional requirement and what are the non-functional requirement for our software system. Non-functional requirements such as what is the performance of our software, which security we need to give while developing the software, then maintainability of our software. So these attributes are related how the architecture addresses the different functional as well as the non-functional requirement. While developing the software architecture, again we need to consider the different views. That means software architecture can be described from the different views, from the different users views. So it is important to ensure that the architecture must fulfill all the software requirement, that is a functional requirement, that what the software has to do, and non-functional requirement means how well it should do it. So it is we can say software architectural design is a starting point for the detailed design as well as the implementation of software, when typically the development team becomes much larger. Now, what are the different methods as well as the notations that are used for designing the software architecture? So, software design notation, they are nothing but a means of describing a software design either graphically or textually, or we can use both the format. We can describe our software architecture either graphically or textually. For example, class diagram, it will represent your software architecture with the help of graphical notation, whereas if you want to describe your architecture in a textual format, then you can use the pseudocode or algorithm. These are the textual notations, textual format for designing the software architecture, or we can say textual design notation. So you can describe the software either in with the help of graphical notations or with the help of textual notation. So the best modeling language which can used for representing our software architecture in a graphical form is nothing but a UML. That is a unified modeling language which is using the different graphical notation for describing the object oriented software application. The different object oriented concepts are graphically represented with the help of UML diagram. So the design notation, they suggest a particular approach for performing a design. That means how to develop that design instead of specifying the systematic approach for designing that system. It will just give you the help of ready-made notations which you can use for designing your application. Next is about the software design concept. The software design concept is a fundamental idea that can be applied while designing the system. For example, information hiding is a software design concept. We need to consider different object-oriented concepts such as information hiding, classes, then we can say inheritance, then data abstraction. All these concepts we need to consider while developing the software or designing the software architecture. Next thing, which strategy, that is the software design strategy, we are using while developing the architecture of our software or while designing the architecture of our software. There are two strategy as we have already discussed about it in a decomposition part. You can use either algorithmic decomposition strategy or you can use the object oriented decomposition strategy for developing the software architecture, and we have already discussed which one is the better for describing the software architecture. If you want to describe the different real time system, or you can say the object oriented concept, then obviously the object oriented decomposition is best for designing the software architecture. That means this strategy or decomposition strategy can be used while developing the software. Now, the next thing we have to consider, that is a software structuring criteria. Software structuring criteria, they may be the heuristic or they may be the guidelines which are used to help a designer in structurizing a software system into its component. For example, object structuring criteria, they are providing us the guidelines for decomposing our system into the object. Object oriented decomposition, it decomposes our system into the objects. So each object is associated with data and its function. Next is about the software design method. What is the software design method? It is a systematic approach which describes the sequence of steps which are followed in order to create a design for the given software requirement of the application, so that it helps the designer, or we can say to the designer team, to identify the different design decisions that has to be made in on the order in which to make them, as well as the structurizing criteria to use making them. With the help of this systematic approach, we can decide which different criteria, software criteria we can use, then which design concept we are using, which strategy of the software, which different notations we can use for designing the software. So design method is based on the set of design concept that can be employed one or more design strategy and documents the resulting design. Now we discuss about the Comet. Comet is nothing but one of the software architect modeling technique with the help of which we can design our software architecture. So Comet is nothing but collaborative object modeling and design technique which uses the UML notation to describe the design. That means if we want to design the architecture of the software and we are using the Comet, then Comet by default uses the UML notation for giving the graphical representation of our software. So Comet is based on the different design concepts which are information hiding, classes, inheritance and concurrent tasks. These are the design concept on which the Comet is based. So it uses design strategy of the concurrent object design which addresses the structure of our software system into active as well as the passive objects and define the interfaces between them. Comet provides structuring criteria which help us to structurize our system into the object during the analysis as well as the design phases, and additional criteria to determine the subsystem and concurrent tasks during the design. Means with the help of Comet we can structurize our system during the analysis phase so that we can understood which are the how to decompose our system into the subsystem and then subsystem into the single component. So Comet is an iterative use case driven as well as the object oriented modeling technique. It uses the different use case. In the use case what we have done in the use case diagram, it is nothing but a requirement gathering phase in which we are gathered the requirement of the customer. So the software development method addresses the requirement, analysis and design modeling phases of the software development life cycle. As I said, while learning the OSMD, we need to understood what is the SDLC, which you already learned inside your software engineering. So you need to know all the phases of your SDLC while developing the software architecture. That means how to gather the requirements from the user, then analysis of your software, and how to develop these requirements in the designing phase. So the functional requirement of the system are defined in terms of actors as well as the use cases. Each use case defines the sequence of interaction between the actor and the system or between the more than one actors. Use case can be viewed at various levels of details. Now there are three modeling which we are using while describing the architecture of our software, that is a requirement model, then the analysis model, and then we are going to the designing model. So in the requirement model, the functional requirements of the system are defined in terms of actors as well as the use cases, whereas in the analysis phase we are describing our structure, that is the use cases, which realize to describe the objects that participate in the use cases and their interaction. That means in the analysis phase we are using the different use cases which describes the interaction between the actors and system as well as between the different actors, whereas in the designing model the software architecture is developed which addressing the issues of distribution, concurrency as well as the information hiding. In this way, the Comet technique is used for developing the software architectural design. Now we move further on the 4+1 view model of the software. Before that, we need to understand what is the view model, and then we go to the 4+1 view model. Now, view model in software engineering is nothing but a framework. View model in a software engineering is a framework. It defines the coherent set of views to be used in the construction of the software architecture. While developing software architecture, it will define the different views of the different perspective. So view is a representation of whole system from the perspective of a related set of concern. Whatever the concern you need to consider while developing your software architecture, the view will represent each and every concern's perspective, that is each and every user view. So viewpoint modeling has become an effective approach for dealing with inherent complexity of the large distributed system. Now, what is this 4 plus 1 view model? Uh, for to come up with a mechanism to separate different aspects of the software system into different views of the system. That means while developing the software, need to consider the views of the different users. The user may be the end user, it may be the programmer, it may be the developer. So we need to consider the views of the different users while developing the architecture of the software. That is the different stakeholders which always have different interest in a software system, such as a developer which have the aspects of a system like a classes, whereas the system administrator, they may be the interested in deployment, hardware, network configuration. Similar points can be made for the project manager, for the tester, as well as for the customer. So the views are used to describe the system from the viewpoint of different stakeholders, such as the end user, developer, as I said, or from the views of project manager. So which are these 4 views? The 4 views of the system models are: first view is a logical view, second view is a development views, third one is the process view, and fourth one is a physical view. And in addition to these 4 views, there is one more view which is called as a plus one, that is nothing but a use cases, or which is also called as a scenario, which is utilized to illustrate the architecture serving as the plus one view. Now 4 plus 1 view model, it presented to address large and challenging architecture. When we want to develop the software architecture for the complex system, then this 4 plus 1 view model help us to design our software architecture. This is the diagram of the 4 plus 1 view model. That is a logical view which is connected to the development view which is connected to the physical then process view. These are all they are connected to each other, and there is a one more view, that is a plus one, that is called as a scenario, which is represented with the help of use cases. So logical views, it is a view of end user, development view is a view of programmer or software manager, whereas process view is a view of your integrator, and physical view is nothing but a view of the system engineer. So we can see all these view one by one. First, the logical view. Logical view is a view of end user. Who is a viewer for the logical view? It is nothing but a end user which consider all the functional requirement. That means what the system should provide in terms of services it uses. From the end user, we need to collect the requirements. So what are the different requirements of that end user, so that we can develop the logic of our software, we can provide the software architecture. So we need to consider the end user view. This view shows the different objects of our system as well as the relationship between this object, and that is shown in the logical view. What is the relationship, how the different objects can communicate with each other, which logic we are implementing for developing the software, and the different UML diagrams that are used for representing the logical view are the class diagram, state diagram, object diagram, as well as the sequence and communication diagram. These UML diagrams, they are used for representing the logical view of our software architecture. Now the next view is the process view. Process view, it shows the processes rules of a system and how this process communicate with each other. In the process view, it represent what are the rules for the process and how this process can communicate with each other. And this view, who is a viewer for this process view? It is nothing but integrators, which consider all the non-functional requirements, that is a concurrency, how our performance of our system, what is the scalability, how much scalable it is. So all these things are considered by the integrator, and this view is from the perspective of integrators view. So the different UML diagram which are used for representing this process view is nothing but a activity diagram. The next view is a development view. Now, this development view gives us the building block of our system, such as packages which we are using inside our system, then execution environment, classes, libraries, whatever the system we are using. All the development views are shown in this view. And who is the viewer for this development view? Obviously, it is nothing but a programmer and software manager. So, development view is a view of our software developer, or we can say the programmer, which consider different software module organization, how the different modules are get constructed, how the different functions are implemented, whatever the relationship between this function, how they are related to each other. All these are considered by the software programmer while they thinking about this view. So the different UML diagrams that are used for representing this development view is component diagram. The first diagram is a component diagram, and next is the package diagram, which represent different packages that are used by the software programmer while developing the software. The next view is a physical view. Physical view shows the system execution environment, how our system should be executed. And the viewer for this physical view, that means whose view is this, is nothing but a system engineer, which consider all the non-functional requirement regarding the underlying hardware, like a topology, which topology is used, then what are the communication media. All these things are considered by the system engineer for the physical views. And the different UML diagrams which are used for representing this physical view is the deployment diagram. Now all the four views we know, that is a logical view, process view, then we are knowing about the development view, and then the procedural physical view. So the next one, that is a +1 view, is nothing but a scenario, or we can say the use case view. So this scenario, who will consider, or whose ideas or whose views we are considering for this scenario? It is viewer for the scenario is nothing but the all users of other views and evaluators, which consider system consistency as well as the validity of our system. So what this scenario exactly explain? The validation as well as the illustration to show the design is complete or not. It is redundant with other views, as well as the UML diagram that is used for representing the scenario is nothing but a use case diagram, because in each use case we are describing the scenario of each and every actor or the system or each and every element which are included in that diagram. So next thing, what is the relationship among the views? See, concurrency is not addressed in the logical view. So to achieve the process view, we need to map the classes as well as their object onto the task and processes during concurrency and synchronization. So they need to be related to each other, or we can say logical view need to be the connected to the process view. Then the processes and process groups are mapped onto the processing nodes of a physical computer network to obtain the physical view. So each dependency between the components, and there must be corresponding link between node. So process view are connected with a physical view. Now the logical view is also basis for the development view. Normally each class corresponds to the module. So logical view, if you look at this diagram, in this diagram we are showing the relationship between the different views, such as logical view is connected with the development as well as the process view, whereas physical view is also connected with the development view and process view. This is the relationship between the different views. Now we will decide which views are needed to be best express the architecture of the system and to expose the technical risks of the project. For each and every views, decide the artifacts, that is a UML diagram, that are needed to be created to capture the essential details of the view. As a part of process planning, decide which of the UML diagram require frequent reviews and which have to be documented. As per the requirements, we need to decide which type of diagrams are used for the particular views with the help of UML. Now the views, if we are working on the single machine, then from the different perspective views, the UML diagram are used. Use case diagram is used for representing the scenario, whereas for the designing view we are using the class and interaction diagram. We are working on a single machine, so there is no diagram that can be used for the process implementation as well as the deployment. But if we are working for the complex distributed system, then all the views require the different types of diagrams to represent the different view. Use case diagram as well as the activity diagram, they are used to represent the scenario or use case view, whereas design views are represented by with the help of class diagram, interaction diagram, state chart diagram. Process view, they are represented with the help of class and interaction diagram, whereas implementation view is represented with the help of component diagram, that is how the components are interconnected with each other. And then deployment view is represented by deployment diagram, which represent the networking between these different components. Now next thing is about why it is called as a 4+1 instead of just 5, because use case view has a special significance. Even though we consider all the views, logical views, then we consider process view, physical views, we can consider all the views, but main view is nothing but a use case, because all the requirement gathering is done in the use case view. So it is has a special significance, that why instead of saying the 5 we are saying special 1, that is a +1, that is nothing but a use case. When all other views are finished, it effectively redundant. However, all other views would not be possible without the scenario. We need to describe the scenario of the requirement in each view. So this is the much more important. That's why it is called as a +1 view. 4+1 view model came before UML, because it is important to remember that 4+1 view approach was forward 2 years before the first introduction of the UML, which did not manifest in the first appearance until the 1997. Then UML is the most enterprise architecture which are model, and 4+1 approach still plays a relevance to the UML. 4+1 view is important because it makes modeling easier, better organization with a better separation of concern. Then 4+1 view approach provides a way for architects to be able to prioritize modeling concern, as well as make it possible for stakeholders to get the parts of the model that are relevant to them. I hope you will understood what is the difference of 4+1 views model for the software architecture, and how to develop the software architecture with the help of different design technique, and what is a format. Thank you.